Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of the Mini Box. We've got two more models to open up for you today. It is the Nolzur's Marvellous Miniatures range, the male Dragonborn Fighters. Let's take a look. These are the Dragonborn male fighters from the Nolzur's Marvellous Miniatures range for Dungeons & Dragons. As we found with the previous ones we've opened, the Aasimar, the Umber Hulk and the Mimics, these are primed and ready to paint out of the box. Just looking through the clear plastic on the front of this box, you can see the models themselves. Even from inside the packaging, they do look very, very nice. You can see there's a good level of detail on them already. On the back, as we found with the previous ones, they've got example kind of colour schemes, paint schemes that you can use for these models to give you an idea of what they will look like once they're painted. Let's get into it. Just got to peel the back off. And then they should slide out quite nicely here. There we are. So, as we found with the Aasimar, these small circular plastic bases, quite thin, but you should be able to paint these to a different colour if you want to easily enough. So we'll take out the guy on the top first, as we do. Now this is a very nice miniature. Just immediately opening that up, that is fantastic. The level of detail on here is incredible. Let me just bring that in. So it's got this white prime undercoat, base coat on it already, which looks very good. Should make it nice and easy to get the paint onto it. Now you can see this is a big miniature. For a player character model, that is rather large and suitably ferocious for something with dragon blood running through its veins. It's in a mid-attack pose, looking to strike with its curved blade. The jaw is open, teeth bared, looking aggressive and angry. You've got the spikes on the pauldron on its shoulder here. Very nice detailing on, I think that's scale mail it looks like on the front. Nice quite deep ridges here, so you should be able to pick out highlights and shading when you're painting for a nice bit of detail. You've got a bit further down, kind of, what would that be called? Some kind of loin protection, I guess. And then you've got the armour on the knees, on the joints, and this cape on the back as well, this cloak. Very nice, deep grooved detailing here. Again, that should make for some very easy painting for layering, dry brushing and highlighting. I think because that's quite a large painting surface, that'll just be nice to get a good solid colour on there with a little bit of the highlighting. Now, one of my favourite parts of this is that shield. That is so nice, with these kind of curved spikes coming off the top here, a little bit of detailing and patterning on the front, and on the inside you can see it's kind of segmented. You can see the individual rivets and bolts that are holding parts of this shield to the other segments of it. This is so very nice. I really like this model. Probably my favourite of the ones I've opened so far. It looks fantastic. I don't see any blemishes or any major problems with the manufacture on this one. A couple of mould lines, a little bit of flashing, a couple of mould lines on the shield here that will need a little bit of cleaning up. Quite a noticeable one on the cape here, but that's nothing new. That's something I've kind of come to expect from the Nolzur's Marvellous Miniatures ones, but it's nothing that I wouldn't be able to kind of remedy quite easily with a file or just careful application of a modelling knife. But yeah, this is really nice. I absolutely love this model. Let's take a look at the second one. So this is the second one in the pack for the male Dragonborn Fighters. Now, he doesn't feel quite so large as the second one that came in the box, and I think that's partly down to the pose that this guy's in. He's rearing upwards, he's got his shield kind of slashing out wide. He's got this big billowy cloak behind him. It gives him a sense of presence that this second one doesn't quite have. Now that doesn't mean he looks any less of a capable fighter. He's got his blade kind of held out in front of him as he's striding forwards quite confidently, quite purposefully. He's got leaning forward. He's got this good kind of feeling of pace and movement to him. That shield on him as well, that's very nice. You've got this kind of dragon or, well, Dragonborn crest on the shield. Nice ridges, again, for your highlighting, dry brushing, detailing. That should be quite nice and easy to pick out. It looks like he's got maybe half plate on the front of him. And again, that's got some nice, smooth and very defined lines for painting and bringing out detail. And it looks like he's wearing kind of like a padded leather underneath. I guess that looks like kind of quilted leather almost. He's got some armor on his knee joints as well, and he's got these lovely kind of details coming off his pauldrons, kind of swooping backwards, just adding to this feeling that he's moving forwards with purpose. In terms of the quality of it, this is, again, quite a high quality miniature, as we saw with that first one. I don't see any major blemishes or problems with the detail, with the model itself. Couple of mould lines, as we've seen with all of them so far, but that's pretty par for the course. A little bit of cleaning up is going to be needed on those mould lines. I don't know if you're able to see just here, there's a little bit of one. But again, overall, that looks very, very nice. So these are both very, very nice miniatures. They are quite large, but just how do they compare to something that's human-sized for Dungeons & Dragons? Now, we will compare that to one of the Aasimar models that we looked at last week. So the Aasimar are human-sized to all intents and purposes. They are humans that have a bit of divine blood in them. So we can compare our Aasimar wizard to the Dragonborn, and you can see that size difference. The Dragonborn is a very, very big model, and the Dragonborn are meant to be, they're kind of over 6 foot tall. They are meant to be these big, imposing characters and humanoids. They are quite rare, or they're not as common as some of the other races, so they've got to have this kind of big sense of presence to them, which I think this pulls off very well. So those were the male Dragonborn fighters, and they look fantastic. I really like those models. But just how do they compare to the Dragonborn entry in the player's handbook? Let's take a look. Oh! So we've got the player's handbook, and we'll open it out to the Dragonborn race entry. So they are proud dragonkin. They look very much like dragons, standing erect in humanoid form, though they lack wings or a tail. So I think we definitely get that kind of feeling from the miniatures. They've certainly got a suitably draconic appearance to them. I don't think they look like just lizard folk. They certainly have this dragon-like appearance to them. I think that fits that initial description quite well. In terms of the traits, for their size, Dragonborn are taller and heavier than humans, standing well over 6 feet tall and averaging almost 250 pounds. Now, certainly you do get that feeling from these models. These are big, they look hefty and heavy. Definitely, I think they fit that kind of character description very, very well, down to a T. These are big, imposing, and certainly they fit that dragon feel very nicely. Those were the Dragonborn male fighters from the Nolzur's Marvellous Miniatures range. Really, really nice models, and again, £5 for the two of them. For the size of those models and how good they look, I think that's an absolute bargain. Really, really good value. And if you want to play a Dragonborn, or you just want the models, absolutely worth it. 100% definitely get those. They're very, very nice. This has been the Mini Box, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.